Well, it's that time of the year again. Everyone's favorite time, the top 10 lists. All of the top 10 games, the worst games, which for other people, I won't be doing them. All the times to look back and forward at the best games from the last year, the best games from the next one. It's always a great time. I always look forward to it deeply. It's my favorite time of the year. 2024 was always going to be a smaller year than 2023, which many people consider to be one of, if not the greatest year in all of gaming. With such big titles like Baldur's Gate 3 being the most obvious one, Zelda Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom, Alan Wake 2 releasing, Resident Evil 4 Remake being released to critical acclaim, and there's more too. And while I don't personally have that same strong feeling, because it didn't hit me quite as deeply, these are all games other people enjoy more. Admittedly, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, so who knows. I'm not as much into the Zelda later games, but that's neither here nor there. This is not a time to look back. Well, it is, just not quite that far. But 2024 is always going to be smaller because you're not going to have a year like that twice in a row. Things need to cook. But I always had hope for it. Because even if it wasn't as big a year for a lot of people, probably, there were some games that I knew were coming out that I could not wait for. A few of them we'll get into, so I'm not going to say it here, but on my behalf, for the big JRPG lover especially, I knew it could have been way better for me. And while I didn't play all the games I hoped to play this year, I think I got enough for at least a satisfying top 10 list. Some honourable mentions that I hope, well, not honourable mentions, it's games I hope to play at some point that I haven't gotten around to yet, that will not be on this. Palworld, partially because it's early access still. Rise of the Ronin is one I really like to get to at some stage as well. And other games like Pacific Drive I really want to play at some point as well. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And Space Marines 2 are ones I definitely want to get to at some point, but I haven't played them, so I could lie and put them on this list, who knows. But maybe in the future they'll get a mention. There's something else I do that'll potential for them someday. But like I said, even with avoiding all those games, which I think I could love, it has been a pretty great year in a lot of ways. For me, it has been way more of a retro year. A certain game which we will get to later kind of changed me, and it, for better or for worse, for love and for hate, it just hurt me playing anything new, especially big games. But with enough of that shit out of the way, let's just get right into it. Here are my top 10 games of 2024. Number 10. Snooker Blitz. Okay, admittedly starting off a kind of a weak entry. It's just a snooker game. Who gives a fuck? But the answer to that question is I do. Pool Blitz I think was on my probably on my top 10 for last year. Might have been the year before. I don't even know if it was on the actual list, but I really loved it. I think I got the platinum trophy, but probably 100 hours into it. It's what is it? It's just online snooker. There's really not much to say about it. It's snooker, but against other people. I don't know. Is this the first snooker game online? There's probably like been, the shovelware crap on the PS Store for the €2 that you'd get a platinum trophy in 5 minutes. But this might be the first one like this. As you play, it's just basic snooker, but you get more cues to have more power, better spin, better equipment, custom, cosmetic stuff. But like I said, there's really not much to say about this. It's snooker. The only little issues I have is one, like you'll have this overlay thing telling you the controls that will cover like the bottom left part of the screen, which sometimes will cover up where you want to aim. And unlike pool, the table is bigger. This is like a pool table. This is a snooker table. Pool, whoa, pool, snooker. I suck. I don't know when this came out. It was a few months back, but I've been playing it pretty much every day since. I have a match or two, sometimes more, but it's snooker, and I like snooker. I don't know. If you don't know snooker, I'm pretty sure it has a different name in other places, but yeah, it's like pool, but more structured, streamlined, linear. It's linear. If pool is open world, this is the linear version. Yeah, instead of just going for spots or stripes or two different kinds of ball, it's like red, color. And if you pot the black ball, it's just a foul. It's not a game over. You don't lose. But yeah, yeah, there's not really much to say about this. It's mostly on here because I didn't play enough this year to have anything better. Tekken 8 could have gone here, but it was a tough one. But I realised most of my time with Tekken 8 was kind of negative. At least with snooker, I'm enjoying it. So yeah, it's snooker. The rest will be better, I swear. Number 9. Mighty Morphing Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. I'm not much of a beat 'em up guy. I don't enjoy Power Rangers that much. I watched Wild Force back in the day. So why did I get this? Well, one, as I said before, it's much more of a retro inspired year for me, and this is pretty much on the same level as the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle side scrolling beat 'em up games. I really enjoyed Shredder's Revenge, and this just it seemed like it was doing that. How could I not get it? I kind of I'm pretty sure I spent like €35, which I will admit I slightly regret. That's a bit much for this, but it's just what it is. It's a 15 stage, I think. I'm not sure if all the stages count, but basically 15 stages of left to right beat 'em up. But the thing that made this stand out for me, it's not just that. You get little bits of variety in between that really spices it up, which you wouldn't think you'd need for 15 levels. But again, for me, not a beat 'em up guy, it really made this more interesting to me. You'll have kind of first, like, vertical shooter style levels on a bike or on your Zords. You have the Megazord battles, which is like a first person view Mike Tyson's Punch Out kind of thing. A lot more basic, but that's the idea of it. You know, like roller coaster shooter sections, and it really adds to the variety. And that is what instantly made me just have a ton of interest in this. There's also one thing I really love about this. More games need to do stuff like this, but slightly different, but with real games. Basically, there's three arcade machines in the game. You collect an item in game. You can use the arcade machine to play a very Atari-ish arcade style, just basically old style arcade game. There's one called what's the name? It's like Bomb Car or something, which is basically you just drive forward and the cars will come up from behind or in front of you. You shoot a bomb and you have to hit them with it. You get score, get enough points, you get a bonus car which can give you extra time, extra levels if you go far enough. It's almost more fun than the game. I spent quite a bit of time on this, and I can see myself keeping the game just to play these arcade games. One is basically test your might, where you have a bear filling up, you have to fill it at the right time. Then how do I explain it? You'll have it up full. If you they said this is like the full bear, and you get like up here, that's how much space you'll have for the next time. Then you have to click it here, and it gets tighter every time. Hopefully, this explains it better. The other one, it's like a top down. You control a spaceship. You slowly move around awkwardly. I don't give a fuck about it. It's boring. I don't like this one. When I played Tekken 8, was that coming up twice in a row here? They have an arcade mode, and I thought this is what they should have done with the arcade mode, where like you just have arcade cabinets around and you click on them to play Tekken 8 in them. It's exactly the same game, but you're in an arcade. Woo! Wouldn't it be cool if more games did stuff like this, but where they had actual arcade machines, but instead of just having you play the normal game on the arcade machines, you can play like Tekken 1, 2, and 3. Imagine if like you were playing Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and you can make a machine to play the original Zelda on it. Imagine if in Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, you dig under some things and like, what is this futuristic machine? You find MGX and you play Metal Gear 1 and 2 on it. Wouldn't that be fucking awesome? Am I the only one who has any vision with this stuff? Come on, have some fun. Just Grand Theft Auto 6 in your house, Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 on it. Just let people experience the old games that nobody gives a fuck about anymore, nobody will play. Well, some of them, but. And have it for free in a game. Why not? Just have some fun. Throw some, especially for games that you can't get anymore, can't buy anymore. I can understand not putting Zelda 1 on or something. That's half a joke because, you can still buy that. I'm not saying you should put games you can buy. I can understand Metal Gear Solid 3 not doing the first one because you can buy them on the PS5. Some of those were just examples of ideas. But wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't that be great? I don't know. I think some games that I just like would go up a few points just for doing stuff like that. But no. At first, that's what I thought Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was doing, but they're made up games. They're still a ton of fun. Well, two of them are. One of them's really, really fun. One of them's kind of fun. One of them's boring. I don't care. But yeah. Side scrolling being up, some arcade stuff, basic collectibles. Every level has the same three objectives. Get an S rank, which is just do it fast enough. Don't die once, and all the collectibles, usually one, two, or three. Most of the collectibles you'll find easily on your first go. Some of them are kind of blended in with the background, like, hey, find No Man's Sky back there. But then you walk right past, whoop, you're gone. A couple of levels took me a few goes, but mostly they're fine. The only really, really strong negative with this game, at the time of this recording, it is less than 3 weeks old. There's no retry option. And there's unskippable cutscenes. Sorry, what? I thought this was a new game, less than a month old. Not a port of a 1994 game. There's one trophy in this one because I went for the platinum. You have to fight a boss without getting hit. And this boss, he can just be there and then suddenly you're got. To try that boss again, you have to go through the entire level again because there's no checkpoint before the boss. You go if that's like a 4 or 5 minute level, which I know that doesn't sound like much, but for an entire boss without getting hit one time, it's a lot. But it doesn't help that you can't just retry the level. You have to quit back to the main menu, pick your power range again, pick your save file again, pick the level again. Wait for like a 15-second unskippable animation where the boss plays his flute for a while, then a thing comes out in the background. Why? Why can't I skip this? Why can't I just have a check? It's not even that the boss is that hard. It's just you have to go through like a 5-minute sequence of the same shit again for an attempt. But yeah, overall, decent game. Even for 35, I honestly really love beating up for Power Rangers. I can't really recommend it that much. I'm glad I played it. But I think if it wasn't for the boss fight thing, I would have gotten the Platinum Trophy in this game like 6 hours. The main story, and I think I went back and did most of the level quests, which means like collectibles in every level. Some of them, I think the first level was the hardest one for that because it just took me so many times to find a little thing in the background. I did the entire thing in 3.5 hours. But like I said, not a beat 'em up guy, not a Power Rangers guy in that much, so I'm sure if you are, you get more fun about it. In terms of like basic beat 'em up style, as far as me, the guy who doesn't play them much, can tell, really good. Really fun. In terms of that aspect, nails are pretty good, I guess. It's fine. Yeah, moving on to the actual good stuff, I think. Number 8. Empire of the Ants. This is a game that I, for some reason or another, every time I'd scroll past the PlayStation Store, which I would do pretty consistently. I do at least once or twice a week just to see what I'd sort by newest to oldest. Every time, this game would catch my eye, and I don't know why. I even looked at the gameplay trailer on the store, didn't care that much. Looked at the screenshots, didn't care. But for some reason, it always was in the back of my mind. I still don't know why. I decided to just go for it, despite it being a bit pricey for somebody I had no idea what if I would enjoy. And it's a mixed bag. It has some of the. It's an RTS style game where you're an ant, which a theme that has come up quite a bit here. Not a genre I'm really that into. And realistically, once you get past the fact that you're an ant, it's a basic RTS kind of game. You build up your base, gather resources, upgrade your stuff, get more types of warriors, and fight the enemy teams. If it does that aspect well as a in terms of the genre, I have no idea. It's not something I play. I played Command and Conquer back in the day. I was sucked at it, and I equally suck at this. It's charming enough that I push on, but I'm not good at it. Some levels I'll do easily on my first go. Then I'll go to the next mission and I'll be stuck there for hours. Not exaggerating. Last night I was trying for about an hour or two and I was like, you know what? Fuck this, and just turned it off and went to bed. But in terms of that aspect, it is really compelling. I do find myself really wanting to push on. I do find myself trying over and over and over. So it must be doing something right in that aspect. And there's a few other types of missions too, which is like find the ant, which you can do kind of a, if you look at it, you kind of see a cone to tell you how far away it is, but when you're a certain distance away, it'll stop telling you, so you have to find it in a certain area. And there's a few missions that we just have to find the thing, send it back to the base by holding X. Nothing special in that regard. I seem to be just talking about how it's okay, it's fine. So why is it on the list, and why not even at the bottom, just like relatively close to the middle, I guess. One reason. Even though I said once you get past the fact you're an ant, it's a basic game. Outside of the RTS stuff, you can explore. Like at the start of every new mission set, you go to a different area and you have to like traverse basically a hazardous zone. You're jumping over leaves, avoiding water, just to get to the next one. Playing as an ant in this game, with the huge world and all, just the area, the look of it. I am not exaggerating when I say some parts of this game have brought me to a level of peace that I've never felt. Like like tranquility. Like I don't even know the right words to describe how I felt playing this game. The first time I went into it, having fun with it, and I just found this slug, jumped on top of him because you can just ride around in some of the things, which is really cool. And I felt more at peace than I've ever felt in my life. I've never. I'll try to capture it on here if I can find it again, but I assume I can do it without restarting the whole game. This right here, this right here, just brought me a level of inner peace that I've never come close to. And I am not exaggerating. I hope I still have, but at one time I was just on a leaf. I was watching a stream in the background while I was playing this game, and I was just like, mute. Because between the music in the game, the environment I was in, something about it genuinely started tearing up. Just being this little ant, looking upon this big, beautiful area, just looking at the greenery, just looking at the background, the trees, sitting on a little branch with some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard. I was almost brought to tears. I mean, what can you even say about a game that can do that to you? The RTS stuff is okay, at least in my eyes, but this is where the true special part of the game was. Every time I'm doing something that's not just RTS stuff and I'm just platforming around, running around the little areas. I love. If they made a game that was just exploring as the ant, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. And I think it would have been like way higher on this list. It could be like 3 or 4. Which, even though I'm talking about games now where I'm like, yeah, most of it was pretty good or some of it was good, when I get to the top 5 in this, it is nothing but positive. Well, there are some higher highs. Even just one point playing this game, I was like, oh, because you can find items as well in the game. Like, you find a tire and you have to get 9 dots on it. It's a weird way of it. It's just a fun little way of having collectibles. Like, oh, I must find this hand. Go here, go here, go here, and then you have it in your menu. And you crawl inside this like milk jug, and it's just the music in the outside just beautiful. And you go inside and it's just, you know, you have that kind of condensed effect because you know you're inside a bottle, you can't hear it as well. And I'd just be giddy, like genuinely. I've never felt some of these emotions playing. I've never felt some of these emotions before ever. There's a certain level that this game brought me to that nothing else. Well, there's one game on this list that has come close, but and I would say consistently more high, but nothing has reached the peak that this has, and nothing has come close. So to developers of these little ant game, please make one where you just explore. Please make a DLC where it's just nothing but the platforming, exploration, obstacle course stuff. Because I loved it so fucking much. But yeah, I like the ant game. Even if I swear, every time I touch a bug for anything, because there's like, you're part of an ant colony, there's other ants around too, there's other kind of insects, or there's snails, slugs, butterflies, grasshoppers. The first time I went up to touch another ant, I was like, let's see what happens if I crawl into them. And the second it moved over, I was like, You can almost feel these fucking things, I swear. The first time, like, the slug was coming towards me, is going to be able to get me. And I just had to run out because I felt like I could feel it happening. I'm not the kind of, like, I don't like bugs, I'll admit that. I've never been the kind of person who's going to see them in a video game or a movie and be like, no, but touching them in this game, I've never felt more immersed in an action I've made in a game in my life. Because I felt physically uncomfortable. But yeah, final thought. Please make a full-fledged exploration-based ant game. Get rid of this RTS crap, I don't care. The rest of it, absolute masterpiece. No company has ever come close to these kinds of just, oh, these feelings, man. Beautiful game. Number 7. The Plucky Squire. A game I don't know when it was shown up, but first time this was shown, instantly knew it was something I would be into. And it wasn't wrong. What is it? It's a mix between like 2D based art. You're in a kind of a storybook, so you're doing like a top down 2D style, sometimes just side scrolling stuff. But the twist there is you can also jump out of the book into a kind of a stop motion looking 3D world because you're just in a room. You solve puzzles, kill enemies and stuff by going in and out of these, and mostly I think the combat is just, you're walking around top down. It's kind of a Zelda side. You press square slash. It's fine. The characters are all really likable. The humor is really fun sometimes. Sometimes a bit awkward, but it's charming. And it also has one of the coolest mechanics I've ever seen in a game. Basically, because you're in a storybook, you'll see words written on the screen, on the level, And it'll be something like the giant bog. No, the small frog is looking at the giant bog. You'll go over, hit the word tiny, hit the word be huge, swap them around. So now you've got this giant frog looking at a tiny bog, and suddenly you can progress. And it's all stuff like that, you know. Oh, it's daytime. Take a word day, put in the word night. And that'll switch around the location of enemies, and you have to solve the puzzle. It's really cool. And probably my favourite part. One, you can take words from like one page, go outside the book, turn the page, bring it to a different one, creating a ton of options here. But more than that, you can do pointless, stupid shit. Who doesn't love being able to do silly, random crap in games? For example, the gate is the gate is locked. Get rid of the word locked. Oh, you're gonna put the word open here, right? Haha, nope. I'm gonna put the word huge. Now you got a huge gate. What does that do? Absolutely nothing. It changes nothing. But you can do it. And that's really fun. I like games that let you do stupid shit that helps nobody. The gate is long. Hey, let's wonder if I make the gate really small. Wow, absolutely nothing again. But I still love that you can do it. Admittedly, I have only played a small bit of this game so far. I've only played like 2 or 3 hours. So it's kind of low because of that. And there's quite a lot more to get through. But in my time with it, I am having a ball. It really just seems like a game they really loved having. They had a lot of fun making. They had a lot of silly fun with. But yeah, I haven't really gotten fair enough, and I really don't have much to say about the game at all. There's really not much to say. It's just a really charming, cute little indie game, and I can't wait to see where they go next. Because some of just the random, creative, silly things you can do in this game, some of just the little decisions they make, really add a lot to it. I put it off for so long, and that was stupid. Because it is an amazing game. I should have played it way sooner. Because it is just one of those things that oozes complete charm. That's the only word I can use to describe it. It doesn't know. I don't think there's any word more fitting. It's just charming. Number 6. Stellar Blade. Now I will. This is a tough one for me. I saw a teaser trailer for this like 5 years ago, back in 2019. Instantly fell in love. The style, the aesthetic of it, just the general graphical look of it, yeah, everything. I knew instantly this is something I was going to keep my eye on. Back then it was called Project Eve. For me, it was called Project Eve. For longer, it's been called Stellar Blade. It had a very near kind of automata vibe to it, and I was all for it. Eventually got changed to Stellar Blade. I didn't like the name, but it's grown on me. I like it. It's a tough one. I am enjoying it a lot, especially certain aspects like being able to explore in an open area without a character yelling at you constantly. A trend I've thankfully, at least in the games I've played, I haven't played enough to fully confirm it, but it is a trend that seems to be dying, and I like that. I'm thinking maybe the God of War, puzzle backlash where the characters would solve a puzzle for you before you had a chance to do anything. Maybe that had more of an effect than I dared to dream. And maybe we can finally play games without a character constantly yelling, "To your left, brother! To your right, brother!" constantly. And solving puzzles before you see the fucking thing. Hopefully, I really hope, because a few of the games I've played this year that I've loved don't do that. I'm like, oh, please let it be dead. Please let it die. At least optionally. But what is Stellar Blade? Basically, you're fighting against these these really cool designed monsters, eventually leading to a cool giant. I can't know. That's not even fair. An unbelievably cool looking boss. Some of the designs in these things are just next level shit. I can't even describe anything else. They're just next level amazing, disgusting looking creatures, and that in the best possible way. Combat is satisfying and fun. You're basically triangle and square to attack, blocking to take less damage, but also do the perfect parry dodge, perfect parry block, both of them. And that's was really it. You just go from A to B doing that. I haven't gotten too much into the story yet because, as we'll get to later, a certain game changed me. And back when I got I didn't start this until this month. Well, last month now, until December. That is how much my year had been really shifted. The amount most of my year was retro games, like a good chunk of it. Not time wise, but quantity wise. But I like to look at the characters. I like to look at the graphics. The world is beautiful, post-apocalyptic, messed up kind of way. But in terms of the general environment and graphic side, absolutely beautiful. The music is just. Sometimes I'll just sit and stare at the out into the world, and just because you can just relax at when you're camp, you can sit down, throw on the music, and just chill. It's again very near inspired. You can definitely see the similarities. I feel like they were inspired, but I don't know if they confirmed it. But there is also a crossover DLC. I can't wait to try. In terms of just looking at this game, sometimes though, you could just sit back and just take it in. And sometimes a fun little lore extra build conversation with your robot partner thing. I'm not sure if he's human or robot or a human in a robot kind of thing. I will admit I played the demo when it came out probably at the start of the year, and I just jumped back in after, so it might not have been the best idea. But so far, easily the best thing: combat. It's a beautiful style with a beautiful combat system, beautiful music. I cannot wait to play more. I finally kind of sat down and started fully getting into it. And maybe that will change how this would appear on the list if I actually finish it first, but you know, Christmas is a busy season, and I'm still not in the time where I have enough time. I don't even know if I'm going to finish this video tonight. I'm going to have to outfit change. if my outfit randomly changed throughout the video, it's because I had to go to bed. Because I don't have a ton of time. But still, in terms of what I have played, I am really liking it. It's one of the few games where I kind of care about the story, but also don't have to constantly pay attention because, you know, I can just relax because nobody's yelling at me constantly. Sometimes they do unfortunately go to that route of just solving a puzzle or telling you an answer to a puzzle. Like at one point, I went to an elevator. I had to, or a gate I had to open. I had a code on it. I was like, oh, the clue is time. Oh, I was like, oh, uh, I got a thing underwater that told me something about the clock tower. I guess I have to. The thing is about time. Maybe that's got something to do with the clock tower. Maybe we should check the time. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Never, ever, ever, ever even vaguely give me a hint to a puzzle unless asking me. And the worst part is, a few hours before this, I was like, oh, because I was telling me there was a fusion core thing nearby which you need to open doors. And I saw a thing on the screen that said, hold left for hint. Wow. And I was so praiseful, and then it did this. That was really annoying. But mostly it's good for it. I just wish, hopefully at some point games will learn. Stop giving me hints unless I ask. In combat, in puzzles, in the world, unless just it's simple. And again, like some of the puzzling, you can also change it in the menus for off, short, or long. Either turn it off completely, have it give you a hint quickly, or an optional hint quickly, or take a while. That's perfect. That is fucking perfect. But then they went and sometimes they go and ruin it by just forcing it on you anyway. How can you go from perfect to fucking it up in an hour or two? That is mind blowing. Like, that is genuinely mind blowing. But yeah, moving on. Overall, having a ton of fun with it, especially combat. It's very satisfying and very fun. I would say the story kind of does. It's before I move on. The story is kind of sprinkled in. You'll be like fighting for an hour, little bits of updates here and there, but then they'll talk. So I'm hoping I'll get way more into it eventually, or some people get to way more. But yeah, also looking forward to meeting new characters I haven't met from the trailer because some of them look fucking amazing. Definitely what this game has going for more than anything in terms of getting new people in, I would say. Well, well, we'll just leave it at say the looks. Number 5. Marvel Rivals. Stellar Blade marked the start of the really good games, but it's all from here on out, games I'm having a fucking blast with. What is Marvel Rivals? It's Overwatch with Marvel. I know a lot of people out there with this. It's a whole fucking fight going on. It's not a copycat. Yes, it is. Oh, they copied this. Oh, Overwatch copied that first. It's completely original. Guys, as somebody has put over 1,000 hours into Overwatch, there are times when I'm playing this game and I swear, they have copied levels from Overwatch. Like, I will go for, like, I'll be just going through them, like, this seems familiar. Huh. A left turn here, a right turn here, a little hidey hole here, platforms here. This seems familiar. The levels even have the exact same feel. Again, sometimes the exact same layout. The idea that this is not copying a lot from Overwatch is laughable. Like, sometimes I swear, I'll be playing, I'm like, oh, well, there's the diva of the game, there's the Junkrat, there's the Roadhog, there's the Pharah. The first time I played, I genuinely thought I saw Sombra running around. It's like, oh wait, yeah, I'm not playing Overwatch. Of course, if I was going to describe how I feel about this game in terms of like quality, it's somewhere between Overwatch 1 and 2. And I know they're probably in many ways they're the same, but I felt somewhere between Overwatch 1 and 2. Well, not between. After Overwatch 2, the combat just felt way less tight and way more floaty. I don't know if that's just me, if I lost my mind, but it never felt right after it. And I eventually quit, well, eventually, very quickly just got bored and moved on. Overwatch 1, one of my favourite games on PS4 that I ever played, one of my favourite games in a long time. Overwatch 2, nah. But I'm sure for a lot of people, including me, Marvel Rivals has really scratched that itch and got me back into something that I didn't realise how much I missed. It's a ton of fun to play with a huge variety of characters who look fantastic, have for a lot of people just built-in love, and it's just something to throw on. I don't think I'll ever get into it as intensely as I did with Overwatch, but I am having a lot of fun. I think I've put like 40 hours into it so far, and it's only come up what this month. Some of my favorite characters at this point, I would say Penny Parker is kind of the one I'm really focusing on right now. I'm really enjoying her a lot. Just between her webs and her mines, I'm having a ton of fun with her. Her ultimate kind of sucks, but the rest I kind of like. Thor was a lot of fun. The Punisher, he's the Bastion of the game in a lot of ways, but he is, I don't know, he got a bulldoze it through and I love it. Venom was a lot of fun. And there's one more, even Doctor Strange was a lot of fun, and he's the kind of character I don't think I'd be good at usually. The closer I came to characters I really don't like using it, probably Groot and Storm. Just not for me. If I was going to say my biggest issue with this game, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it for probably like 2 or 3 weeks of playing it, but today it clicked with me. It feels like it lacks any impact. I don't know if this is just me, but it feels, if I'm playing Overwatch and there's a Pharah up there and like I have a soldier, boom 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 boom, I feel like, oh, I can definitely take that down. I can take this thing down, and I think that kind of, I always felt that way. I could go up with Mercy with her gun against a road. I'm like, I feel like I can do this. I'd get killed pretty quickly. I'd be disabused of that notion very fast. But I felt like I could. It felt doable, even when it pretty much objectively wasn't. With this, I swear, if you Iron Man's the most frustrating thing to go up against in this game because he's just, nobody feels really powerful. Most other characters can't do anything even close to flying, and he's just up here a mile away. Boom, boom. Like, oh fuck's sake, go away. He's like a flying enemy in any game, an annoying little pest you just want to fucking get, but you can't because he's just, well, you almost got him, but now he's behind this thing. And because this game has such a lack of impact a lot of the time, even the ultimates don't feel like they have much impact. I've Again, to bring it back to Overwatch, because of course, McCree, Soldier, Diva, their ultimates, I felt like they could kill anything. But nothing in this game has that same level of, I can tear through this thing. And that's the best way to explain it. It just, every attack, no matter what it is, just lacks impact. But in terms of me, I'm still having a lot of fun with it. It's still a ton of fun to try out, to mess around with. I just wish something could be done to make things feel more. They need more oomph. But I'll continue to try. I'm trying new characters. I'm going for some of the trophies. Sorry if I touched that word. I'm just going for some of the trophies. That's a fun way to kind of decide. No, it's kind of fun way to learn the characters one by one. I've probably gone through about a third of them so far, and like I said, there's only two I really don't enjoy. And even Groot is fine. I don't get his walls. For one character I kind of don't enjoy, one I just definitely don't. It's pretty impressive considering how many I tried. Of course, everyone's favourite, Jeff the Shark. I haven't used him much. He was my first one I used because Spider-Man was taken, but yeah, he's fun. He's water, he's healing thing. Oh, does it travel? As I learned, I was trying to fight an Iron Man, I was like, oh, well, there's Jeff like a mile away healing. I haven't done much in it in terms. I haven't tried competitive yet. I haven't done arcade style. I haven't done any custom stuff. I've just been playing quick play once or twice. Sometimes once or twice. Sometimes a few more. But it's kind of my in between games. Like, oh, I've been playing Stellar Blade, and now I'm about to play entry number 2 on this list. I'll have one or two games of Marvel Rivals before I'm done. Oh, I'm about to go to bed. You know what? I have a half an hour left. Let's draft. It's just something to throw on for a little while to get the blood pumping. But overall, I really hope they can improve this as it goes on. We've seen too many games just come in, have a huge opening, and then he dwindles down and they don't care anymore. I'm not sure how this game is doing currently. Whenever I do decide to finally get this edited when I have time, I'll put the player count on the screen currently. I'm really hoping it continues to do well and improves. And in general, it's just sometimes just fun to play Overwatch with characters you're more familiar with and not have to play Overwatch. Number 4. Metaphor ReFantasio. Basically, a medieval take on the Persona style games from the same company from Atlas. This is another one that could go up as it goes, or it could go up or down depending as I play on. So far, I'm like 20 hours in. In a lot of ways, I swear, like, to say it's similar to Persona is kind of an understatement. I swear, like, the tutorial, you could skip 90% of it. If they put a question at the start said, have you played Persona 5? Yes. Are you familiar with the combat and the mechanics? Yes. And they skipped 90% of the mechanic tutorial stuff. Nobody will be confused. It'll be fine to do. It is that similar, and I'm not even, like, I don't even know if there is any differences off the top of my head I can think of. There's no gun in this game, so that's one. But I would say the biggest change up here in terms of the combat, in terms of that style, is your I actually can't remember what they're called. Your fine, I'll just call them your personas. Everyone will know what the if you play Persona, you'll know what it is. If you play both, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, your personas, they're more designed to be, switched out. You could have a battle where you, like, I had a battle. I swear, I spent like 2 hours trying it, getting my ass kicked. I was so kicked. I honestly questioned if this was possible at the current state. And because you know these games, anything you're gonna do, any place you're gonna go to takes up a day, sometimes two. And the idea of doing that and then just going back sucks. So I push and I push and I push. But that's when it truly made me learn, okay, you're supposed to switch them out to suit the battle. You're not supposed to just kind of. It's less based on this character has persona A, this character has an electric type, this character has a wind type, get the best characters, or trying to sort the situation in the battle out properly. Sometimes you just have to take it and actually change who you're using. Now, if you're like me, that's not a fun concept. I mean, no, okay, let's take that back. That's not something you're going to go right to because you want to use the ones that you like to use from the start. But consider that even some like abilities, some things you can learn are based on getting one character to this level, one persona to this level, then having them kind of all combine. Like get three of them to certain levels. It's clear that this was intentional because when I finally did change and I stopped being stubborn, I beat him on the first go and it wasn't even much of a challenge. It is clearly designed around picking the best one for the job because unlike in Persona 5 where only the main character can switch him out his out, in this game you can assign any of kind of elements to any of your characters, which adds a ton more customization, which can be daunting. But thankfully I learned early on that's the idea. You're supposed to switch to suit the situation. But there's obviously a big story based game, so what's the story of this? Basic storyline: the king is murdered by the villain, and on the day of the funeral, the murderer comes in, drops the giant monster, tells him the king is lying to them, and now the king rises up from the ground as a giant floating rock, just goes with it, and decrees it that whoever gets the most votes from the people, from the people's hearts, will become the new king. It can be literally anybody, just based on who gets the confidence of the people. As you move on, you meet a cast of colourful characters with varying personalities. You'll grow friendships with them based on taking up a day to talk to them, growing your social bonds, whatever it's called in this game. Again, my mind's still in Persona 5 category or territory. That game will never leave me. As much as I love this, I hope they don't abandon the Persona setting. I hope they stick to that too, because it would really suck if this was over. I doubt they will, but still. I know a lot of people are more excited about this stuff than they are about the high school setting, but you know what? I like the city life high school settings. And given the Persona 5 is just one of the games that stuck with me the most, it would really suck to see this take over, even if I do really love this game. But yeah, there's not much I can say about going into spoilers, but it's the same concept as Persona in a lot of ways. You'll have a certain amount of days to do a thing. You'll decide your actions based on it. You can go in and do the dungeon right away. You can talk to people to grow up your stats and your bonds and get more abilities and more personas. And that's the structure. Meet new character, do dungeon. Meet new characters, do dungeon. The art style is... the art style in general is nice. The animated cutscenes in between sometimes... I really miss when games did stuff like this. Like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 on PS1. Sometimes it was the most exciting part to push through and find this like fully rendered FMV. Oh, I miss when games do stuff like that. The Tales games do it with animated cutscenes. So do Atlas sometimes. I wish more games would do this. I fucking love it. Just push, even if it's just a different art style, sometimes pushing the system to its limits. I miss it. And I love it that does it here. But sometimes it has a weird washed out feel to it that I don't love, but overall it looks good. It looks nice. One of the highlights of this game though, the reason I hoped it would get nominated for Game of the Year if nothing else, the music. Holy fuck, the music. Persona 5 always had some great music, some nice chill music, some fun epic music. But really, I think there was like four that were like big standout ones. There was the opening theme, the Shapeshifter one, it was like Into the Starlight one, I can't remember the name of it, and the Desert one. But not that any of them were bad, but they were like these standout ones. In the first 5 or 6 hours, this game had like 10 tracks that for most games they would be lucky to have as their one standout track. And this has had like one after another. The battle theme is one of the most fun, epic things I've ever. It's silly in a way, but it's unbelievably catchy, fun, and really gets you pumped. The first time I played this, I had it stuck in my head for fucking weeks. It's one of the catchiest battle themes ever. After going back to it after a few weeks away, because varying reasons, and for that to just come back to you with no warning, it's amazing. It really just brings you right back in. I very rarely play games with headphones. For the first few sessions of this, I had to. Because just having that music in your ear constantly is incredible. It is one of the greatest soundtracks in a game ever, as far as I'm concerned. And I can't wait to play more. It's just another one I cannot wait to go back to. It does scratch an itch that I didn't even know needed to be scratched. Number 3.
Jump into this life, falling through the rings of sunshine, explore and fantasize, pick an outfit for this ride, trying out all styles, and don't leave any friendships behind. Add a final touch, snap a photo so adventures can rewind. The world is full of surprise all the time. Make a wish and your dreams will come to life. Soaring high.
Infinity Nikki. If a metaphor marked the point of getting into the series now with the top 3, this game is one I had been looking forward to for years. Things like state of plays, gaming events, there would be times where nothing else would be shown that I cared about. Or even most of the things would show off be like, average. Whenever this was here, it was always the highlight. And even when there was other good things too, this always added to it so much. I don't know why. The concept doesn't even sound like something that would interest me that much. It's an open world comfy dress up gacha game. I don't know why that interested me, but the style, the look, just the fun it seemed to have captured me instantly. It had been one of my most anticipated games for like 2 years, I'd probably, and I was terrified. Because I don't remember last time I was looking forward to a game this much. I was afraid it wouldn't hold up. I think it's very safe to say it did. It fucking did. Outfit change. Whoa. I swear that was not intended. That was a coincidence. I wouldn't have come up with the idea to do that if I thought about it. The first outfit change during the game based around this stuff. What are the odds? I wish I had thought of that. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know what this game is, it's another in your ever-growing sea of gacha games, especially lately. Like, ever since Genshin Impact, I feel like, even for a while after, they were coming out faster, but the last year or so, I swear, skyrocketing. And a lot of them look good. That's not even a genre I usually get into. Between this, Wuthering Waves I've just started playing in between the last outfit change, Heaven Burns Red, a lot of these look fascinating. I can't wait to try them out. But to want to set this apart from any of the others, this isn't about getting characters. It's not about upgrading your stats. It's all about outfits. That's what the gacha mechanics are. You get new outfits. You don't get this cool S-rank character, you get a pair of shoes. You don't get this new over-the-top ability that can kill things faster. You get a nice new dress. And when I say that, it's a number 3, it should be obvious, in a very good way. This has become one of the staples of my night for the last few weeks, and every time I play it, I just have like what it's called. I have a chill or cozy time. It's called the most cozy open world game for a reason, and I genuinely think it lives up to that. You basically get Isekai into another world, you become a thing called a stylist, which is kind of the thing you can do, make these outfits, all the magical stuff going on in the world. And in the current place where I am now, I'm in still in the first chapter, I think, because most of my time playing this, I'm not doing anything story related. I'm just having fun exploring, collecting things, all that stuff. Story wise, it's fine. It's not really the reason I'm here, but it's fine. It's engaging enough that I care. The characters are really likable so far. Currently, what's going on for me is we're trying to find out the wish envoys plans, because people keep trying to take these instant wish bottles that can grant wishes, but they can just turn and get into a coma. So that's not going well for them. And we're trying to solve whatever caused that. But most of what you'll do in this game, in the open world, what I've been doing for most stuff is, it's just become the most, just one more thing game ever for me. You collect whim stars, which are collected in a variety of ways, from sometimes just finding them, solving a thing where you have to, either you have a radius around and you have to find a star. These can be the most obvious, blatant yellow pow-poo fruit looking thing that'll be right there. To, hey, there's a star in my string. Barely exaggerating. There was one with a blanket. I was like, it must be a glitch. Something must be wrong. This must be the first one where it's outside the circle. But no. It was a single fucking little yellow thing. I'm on a 50 of them in a blanket. And I said, and again, best way. I really was afraid that these were all going to be stupidly easy. It's just going to be, oh, look around, oh, there's a big yellow star. But some of these, they make the lucky emblems in Kingdom Hearts 3 look easy to find. And they can be, oh, they can be tough. But it really, I think finding one, even if I had to look up the answer, finding one really, really weird little hidden one, it really changed how I'm going to look at these in the best way. Can't wait for more. But there'll be other stuff like you'll groom an animal who will be a different color and that'll give it to you, or catch the right fish that'll be a different color. You'll find a seesaw kind of thing where you have to bounce on this side, which makes a rock go up here and then bounce you back up and then you float towards it. And I'm not even close to describing them all. There's a ton of these. There's also these kind of cubes you find that bring you into a different realm, and you can do stuff like one where you have to guide a ball into the hole, which can be anything from moving platforms at the right level so it'll bounce off this one onto this one and then fall in. Just do that perfectly. Something like jumping on all these platforms while hitting the ground. And you have to do it in the right order, like 3 here, 3 here, 2 here. So you have to go in this very specific pattern. Sometimes there's other kind of platforms offer, like there'll be 5 platforms in a row. You could only step on the second one, the fifth one, creating a trial and error kind of thing. That is what this game does so well. It's so the little bits of variety. They could have just done all these, be just kill all the enemies, and most games would do that. It's the variety that really keeps this game so exciting. I've been playing for like 20 hours, 30 hours, and I still haven't seen every one. I just found one recently where I have to do a bike race. I wonder if Wuthering Waves had any impact on this, because I've just started playing that and I found a few different types of variety with that stuff too compared to other gacha games, so who knows? I don't know where this started, but I'm really appreciative of it. It adds so much spice to it, and it turns what just turns into a kind of more repetitive game, what could have been, into such a blast to play. Every time I find a new one of these, it just brightens my time with a game I already love. But there's also stuff like mini games that will give you stuff which they can be anything from jumping all these spots or hitting the ground that's not here, so you'll have to land from here to here, but there's just not that anything with bad will happen. It's not you're not out to land. You have to land here or here, not here. The ones with the bike race, like I mentioned, you'll kick a soccer ball into a goal 5 times. Again, just load of things like that. Races, ton of fun. And you get different outfits to do things like groom animals for materials, catch bugs, the fishing. An electrician outfit lets you do like a Bioshock style pipe puzzle thing. Like I mentioned with the thing out, we're finding the stars, and one of them was so unbelievably hidden. Really gives me hope for these things. Because the second I saw the Bioshock style puzzle thing, the pipe puzzle thing, instantly, I was over the moon. Like, I was so, I didn't expect it in the slightest. I was so fucking happy. But I was also kind of nervous, like, it's cool, but these are going to be really simple, aren't they? They're going to be really boring. This gives me hope that there's going to be some, not crazy ones, like, they're going to be like, I'm going to be stuck on for 4 hours, but as long as it just gives me enough time to think about it for me, because I love these pipe puzzle things. So far, it's like more than I probably should. I know a lot of people love them too, especially in the Bioshock, which I know it's not the first game to do it, but that's probably the more popular one. Then of course you get your gems, you get your resonance things, you do your pulls, get your outfits, which I think it's like over 1,000 different clothing items, everything from hair, dresses, tops, bottoms, shoes, makeup, gloves, bags, everything you can imagine. Just a ton of variety. The only thing I have a complaint wise with this is, sorry, so this isn't new. I've never seen myself in it before. The only little things I have, it can be weirdly restrictive and frustrating to deal with the actual wardrobe. For one, like let's say you have a dress on and you equip a pair of pants, the dress is gone. They need an undo option, because then if you just go from pants on, pants off, it'll just remove the dress entirely, and then you can't get it back on. Like you have to manually go put it back. Sometimes it'll just take things off, and yeah, like I said, you have to manually go back to put them on. You can't just undo. That's what this game needs a lot. Undo. Just 3 undos kind of thing. So I can go, this. No, I don't like that. Off, off, off. The other thing, the kind of default outfit, whatever you want to call it, like if you equip the pants and unequip, it's just like a tank top and shorts, but they don't let you wear any of these normally. So for example, I'm like, you know what? I like to look at this, with these specific shorts or this specific tank top. Because we're talking about this. This isn't, this is outside my wheelhouse. But it's like, no, you have to be wearing a top, you have to be wearing pants. Like, I would understand this more if like the default wardrobe outfit was underwear or something, because that would make a bit more sense in this for this. But it's not like you're uncovered. It's just a regular little. It's just a regular tank top and shorts outfit. It feels weird not to let you have these. If you're not gonna have them there, why even? I don't know. Sometimes they just look right with the right things. So sometimes it sucks to have that weird restriction on you. It seems really pointless. But other than that, the game is beautiful. The music is like this is one again one of, if not the most beautiful world I've ever seen in a game. A lot of developers find Breath of the Wild were on this, and you can tell. Like I mentioned, how only one game coming up has anything close to Empire of the Ants, and this is it. Well, it never has reached that level of the highs of Empire of the Ants in terms of that kind of feel. Not a slight in this game. Nothing has ever reached that level. Nothing's ever come close. But this is the closest anything has come. Because with the beautiful world and the music in this game, sometimes I'd be just playing and I have to stop. I just have to stop and just watch. Just watch and listen.
A blank sheet of paper, soft and easily crumbled. When the light shines through, it can never be, there's a hole. And it's not perfect, I know, but I'm gonna shape it still, till it is more than a sheet of paper. Every shade of it, reminder. Find my way in the sky, find my way to fly high. Never felt so alive. Spread my wings and glide. Joyful tears with pride. Find my way in the sky, find my way. Then I realize rules can be defined. I'll catch the light, at least I give it a try.
Because this music, with this art style, it just hits in ways that I cannot express. There's Arena's the only thing that came even vaguely close to Empire of the Ants with that moment, but nothing has ever done it this much for me. This year truly has been special in that very specific way. I guess other small complaints, combat, I can't complain about combat. It's an afterthought. It's just a thing to kill some enemies, which are, well, purify enemies. You press circle, shoot a ball, enemy dies. If not, he dies in 3 hits. The closest thing I came to like a boss fight yet was with a fish shooting music notes at me, and it was, even that was a ton of fun. It's not combat related, it's just dodging things. Where it's like music notes would come at you like this kind of, or different angles, and you have to get through without getting hit too much. And one of the most fun parts. Sometimes the music in this game just has me bouncing in my seat because it's just so catchy. Oh yeah, I went on from that, didn't I? Other small complaint, the fishing, it's fine. You throw out your line, fish comes toward you, press down. It tries to swim away, you pull back this way, goes that way, go that way. I don't think you can lose the fish and you just tap square. It's so uninvolved and simple that it kind of just feels like it shouldn't even be a thing. But again, I think I'm looking at this in the wrong way, because it's not that kind of game. It's not the game where you're supposed to be fishing and just be stuck for a while. It's like, oh, I'm going to pull, oh, I lost the fish. It's not meant to be frustrating like that. But I wish there was more to it than just, wait, pull, 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 pull. Just a tiny bit more. But other people seem to love it, so I guess that's just me. But like I said, I can just turn this game on and I could be just there for an hour or two watching something in the background, and I'll just be there collecting bugs, collecting fish. And, the best thing about this actually is it gives you resources in the game just for crafting more outfits, which is the only thing it does give you, which that can kind of drag it a tiny bit, because like sometimes you'll collect like the first type of a bug and like, oh, what does it do? Can be used as resources for crafting outfits. Like, wow, just like everything else. It might as well not even tell you at a certain point. But one thing I really do like is you can upgrade stuff in like the what is basically like the upgrade wheel of the game. You can do different stuff for outfits, or it can upgrade your abilities, get you new outfits and stuff. And you get these and unlock these by collecting all these bugs and fish. Because every time you collect something, your collection insight will go up, your fishing insight, your grooming insight. I don't remember the exact words, but they are the things that go up. And that motivated me so, like, it was already something I enjoyed doing. This made it feel so much more worthwhile. And now whenever I'm doing it, it says, yeah, I got a bit more close to this. There is a limit to it, but The only one I've ever done is a collection inside, because that's just up everything you see in the ground, the flowers, the pine cones, the fruit. The thing you just tap triangle to pick up. You can get like 5 or 6 at a time if you're in the right place. Only thing that's ever gotten full. I've never gotten to grooming inside full, which is like grooming animals. Never got to fishing, never even come close. Bug catching maybe, because that's just finding the bugs and just pressing square to catch them. And the bugs in this game. Not a fan of bugs in general, but in games they're just whatever. These are some of the most adorable creatures I've ever seen. Just look at these things. I don't know who came up with this, but you made something beautiful. I've never been so enamored with a bee or a spider or this water moth thing. Everything in this game really does add up to, I can't describe any better than what they describe it as themselves. The coziest open world game ever. It really does live up to that. It's an addicting game. The only thing I'd say is I really hope this will have the staying power some of the other games have, because I'm loving it. And I know a lot of people have played it, but I just wonder how much of a staying power this will have. People come back to games like Genshin Impact or all that stuff because the new characters are cool. The new characters look great. They like the look, they like what they do. Will this game have the same of power? Will people be as motivated to come back for new outfits and for whatever updates they add? I hope they continue to add to the variety of the game, the mini games, the ways to get whim stars, all that. Because if there's one thing that would keep me coming back, it's adding fun for varied things like that. But as for now, they've been doing significant updates every time I turn on. Genuinely, nearly every 1 or 2 times I turn on, there's a new update. I'm glad they're fixing things. It seems like they're listening. They're always giving out little rewards for anything that has to be any inconvenience. They seem really nice about it. But yeah, I got about this game finally for about 20 minutes. I've been excited for years, and it's thankfully lived up. But we should probably move on. If you haven't played it, it's free. It's on pretty much everything. Absolutely beautiful game. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here. It's the first one of these I've gotten this into, especially this. I played Genshin a lot back in the day, but that was more when I had friends who played it too. Playing it myself, this is the first one I've ever gotten this into this early. And I hope I can stay along for the ride. I hope I don't phase out. Number 2. Black Myth Wukong. Yep, I'm not sure. I don't think it's a surprise for this to be on any list, but it's kind of a surprise it's on mine. I only got like back when I was thinking about games I should play for this video, like the things that could be potentially here for this list. This is one I thought could be. I'm not typically a Souls guy. I played Demon Souls back when it came out on the PS3. I played about half of Dark Souls before I just got to kind of get demotivated. I got past it on Orlando, and dying even 3 or 4 times after there, I just lost every bit of motivation. I feel like I'd done the best part of the game, and I just couldn't really care as much after that. But I did like what I played a lot. Bloodborne got past the first boss. I don't think a game's ever kicked my ass quite like Bloodborne. Haven't played any of it. I've played a few of the smaller Souls-like games, Lies of P, whatever that one with the mannequin robot things are. And one really early on the PS5, but none of them ever grabbed me. Like I said, Demon Souls and Dark Souls, good. But other than that, I never really got into these kind of games. I respect what they are. I'm fine with them being what they are. Even if I don't really get into them, I'm not the kind of person who thinks, oh, they need to change for me. I'm fine with things not being for me. That's absolutely okay. But this one, I don't know why, sudden for some reason, just looking at it, I thought it was really, it really grabbed my attention early. I didn't know if I was going to play it because spending 70 on a game like this, which I know my history with, I know my attention span with, it was a real gamble. But then one day I just saw my friend, while I was thinking about it, I saw my friend he had gone back to Elden Ring. That was the sign I needed. And I just went for it. I just fucking went for it. Didn't think. Probably like six or like two in. I think it's like 2 in the morning. I was like, download it. Don't think. Just go. Well, I think it was around 6 in the morning. I finally went to bed that night after beating one boss. Not even kidding. In my defense, I don't think I was supposed to fight him this early. He is an optional boss, but he's the big baby looking guy, the big baby ground pounding statue thing. I hadn't gotten the transforming flame ability. I'm gonna butcher the names. I don't remember half the names of these stuff. They don't stick with me. But I spent like 3 hours, and even after that, even after 3 hours of trying and pounding my head against, so I hit my head against a brick wall till it breaks. The only ability I had at that time was the brief freeze ability, and I swear, about 3 or 4 different occasions, I'd run out of mana, and I knew because he'd have like this much health. I was like, oh, perfect, I'm gonna freeze him out and kill him, and ass kicked because I'd be out of mana, bang. But I did push on. That something has to be said for the fact I did fight him for 3 hours, and even then, even after that, I didn't feel like the game had clicked with me. Everything felt too imprecise. Everything felt too vaguely not random, but like, oh, I can kind of tell what he's doing half the time. Half the time it just feels like there's no way I'm learning this. I'm not going to get fair in this. But thankfully, I did push on. And somewhere along the way, I did start to absolutely fall in love with this game more than any Souls like ever. I think because for the next 2 or 3 bosses, after spending 3 hours fighting this thing and just get my ass handed to me, I will also point out, even though I did level up 8 times during this process, because you couldn't get back to this boss without fighting at least one enemy on the way on the bridge. I leveled up 8 fucking times with one enemy because I had to kill him every time to not have him distract me during the fight. I did not use, because I'm a stubborn fuck for some reason, I don't know why I do this myself, because I couldn't not level up, because it was not an option to grind a tiny bit on the way to this fight every time. Those 8 levels refused. I was fighting this the way I went in. I probably would have beaten if I'd leveled up a few times because I would have had extra power, extra health. Because a few times I would have won if I got one extra attack in. But no, I was being stubborn. And eventually I did beat him, like I said. But thankfully after that, after doing that for like 3 hours, the next 2 or 3 bosses were a cakewalk. I lost once against one of them, against the wolf guy. Against the guy who has the poison snakes. I did lose a few times, but I knew really quick I was going to be able to beat him easily. And I think that pretty much stayed like that until, oh, what's his name? The white clad noble. There, I fucking remember the name. This was the point in this game where I went from, this game is really good, I can see why people love it, I like it, to unbelievably just falling in love with it. This was the moment. It was somewhere on like the 10th attempt, I think, on him. Not even a winning attempt. Where I was just playing along like normal, and I just felt this surge of just pure like adrenaline, elation. I can't even think of a different word. Just pure elation. I was just having the time of my life fighting this guy. He was one of the most fun fights in the game in general, and I just couldn't believe how much fun I was having. More than any other Souls game, more than most games in general. I'd never felt this kind of feeling fighting a boss. No matter how much I've loved a game, no how how much I enjoyed a game, I've never felt this. And it happened a few more times throughout the game since. A few standout fights where I'll have them on screen because I'm terrible at remembering names. That one guy who was in the desert who had like the two thunder, he had to get these lightning hammer things. Was it the Yellow Noble? Something like that. He was the last chapter 2 boss. What a fight. That thing, I think I spent like 2 days, like 7 hours total. And it was always fun. Like, I got to a point where I would be able to get to, like, I got from phase 1, because it's split into like 3 phases, and I would get to a point where I could beat phase 1 without getting hit once. But then eventually it beat me down to a point where I couldn't beat phase 1 at all. And just pushing through all of those stages to finally beat him. To a point, like, I'm going to show it on screen a little bit, but I'm going to show it on screen a little bit. You see these obvious, very blatant, in your face sand tornadoes? I had gotten to a point where I couldn't fucking see them. I was fighting this guy, and while I was playing, I don't know what's hitting me, what the fuck's happening, I can't even tell. That is how weirdly engrossed in this I was. I don't know what was going on with me at that time, but I think I was just beaten down and broken in the best way. And when I finally got him. One of the best fights in the game. I think that those two, and if I pick one more, if you know them better than me, people know the names better than me. I'm terrible at the names. Yeah, the Tiger Vanguard. It's just these are some of the absolute highlights. There were plenty of other good ones too, but these were just top tier fights for me. I eventually got to chapter 3, and I'm currently on chapter 4. Just be chapter 3. Chapter 3 is the point where I stopped being bosses standing in my way and enemies started to get in my way. Like, I would spend like 2 or 3 hours just in this small group of enemies because they were just relentless. I think the biggest part in terms of bosses that do kill me a lot, the only ones I really don't enjoy are bosses who are just like relentlessly fast. You know, the boss where you're like, oh, he's hit you, now he's coming right at you again. You have no time to think or plan, or even when he hits you once, and you think, okay, now I'm gonna get a chance, and no, he's right back. But overall, so far, 4 chapters in, time of my life, and it's probably no coincidence that, like most games on this list, like a good chunk of them, it's yet another game that where I hate to be a broken record, but I can just play. Nobody's yelling at me constantly. I'm going to explore in the wrong direction. Nobody's going to go, shouldn't we be going this way? It's just every time I can play a game without somebody yelling at me is always going to add a few points for me. It's a beautiful game. It's a fun, addicting game. It's the most cliche thing to say about these games out there. The satisfaction when you do beat a boss. The amount of times I've just been playing on my couch and I just like stand up going, just the just the glory of it all. Just for myself, nothing hits quite like it. Even after a few attempts at these boss kicking your ass, the satisfaction when you do beat them is unbelievable. Only slight complaint, obvious one. I came up with a little game here if I can find the right ones. If not, the next part will be completely unrelated. Let's play a game. It's called Can You Go Here? I'm going to show you a clip and a screenshot, and you're going to say, I'm going to point you to where it is, and I'm going to say, can you go that way? Or is there an invisible wall blocking you? Here? Wall. Wow. This one was one I wasn't even going to include because, like, I was kind of thinking about it as a joke at the start because it's so early on. It's like, haha, this is one, but it's so obvious you can go here. Nope, can't go here. This one, obviously you can't go that. Oh, you can. And this way, hey, you can actually go that way. Great. Many people have pointed out, but yes, the invisible walls in this game are an absolute disaster. There are times there's no business having an invisible wall here. It looks like such an obvious place you can go, but no. Bang. Love it. So, and then, like, when you do get to a point where you actually can fall, it takes you so off guard. But then it doesn't happen too much, and it's more of an early game problem for me. I didn't really notice it as much as I went on. And another small one, there are cryptic as shit secrets here. That I don't know how. Apparently, like, they're permanently end game missable stuff because of it. Like one here. Here's a wall. You're supposed to just know with this random wall that, yeah, it looks different, but not like in a obvious breakable way. This boss fight you're fighting against is supposed to run into the wall and break it. If not, you can break it with an ability, but not really the problem. How the fuck would you figure this out? Who knows? Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's a community effort. That's the idea. Anyway, I don't want this to be a 4 hour long video, so I'm just going to leave it out. Overall, really fun combat, ton of great customization and abilities. It's just been such a pleasure to play. In my terms of experience with Souls, like, it is peak. Nothing has come close, even ones I have liked. Like, I remember enjoying Dark Souls, never to this extent. In a genre that is as popular and common now as it's one of the few genres that really gets represented this much, and usually not too well, sometimes with hit or miss results. This for me will always be one that's going to stand above and beyond, and has given me feelings that I've never felt before. And no matter how tough it gets, no matter how many times I die, no matter how many hours I bash my head against a boss to the point where I can't even beat a phase that I could beat before without getting hit once. It's hard to get too frustrated because it's always so much fun. And I'm keep pushing on no matter how much it pushes me back.
The wind shall roar, the sun shall win.
Number 1.
Walking city streets with worn cobblestones, listening to people rushing past to rhythms all their own. Life passing me by, not thinking how the years have flown until I met you. I won't say that it was fate. I won't say that it was dead.
And here it is. The big one. Part of me didn't want to put it here. Part of me wasn't sure if I would. Part of me didn't know how exactly I would do it. But realistically, in some deep part of me, I always knew it would be here. The best game of this year is, of course, if you know anything about me, obvious answer. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Let's throw the winner of the year up here. I don't know how this is going to go. This could be a long one. I'm going to try to contain myself because I think I could genuinely scream about this game for hours. Who knows? Maybe could won't be the right word in 4 hours. So, if anyone who doesn't know, Final Fantasy is a series that is near and dear to my heart. I cherish more than any franchise in any entertainment. It has been near and dear to my heart, and one of the biggest things in terms of this stuff since I was a kid playing Final Fantasy VIII before I could even read it properly. When I had to get my brother to do stuff like Junction GFs, where I thought Selfie's name was Stephanie. This was just a franchise that has stuck with me all these years. Final Fantasy X is my favourite game in the world. It's my favourite thing. I've kept up with the series ever since, been excited and looking forward to every new entry, for better or for worse. When I saw Final Fantasy VII Remake first announced, the way I reacted, I genuinely think if it was recorded without me knowing, I was alone in my room, and I think if it was been actually caught, people probably think it was fake. That's how over the top it was. I dived into my bed in excitement. I don't think there's been a big reveal that big ever. And as slow years went on, I played it. It turned out it was great. I had little problems with it, but overall, it hit hard. And in a lot of ways, same with this. Obviously. I think I didn't realise that time when this came out. This is Final Fantasy VII Remake. For anyone who doesn't know, it's split into 3 parts. Part 2, this is part 2. Part 3 is coming out whenever it comes out. Pretty much everything you associate with Final Fantasy VII is probably in Rebirth. Getting out of Midgar, most of the locations, most of the character stuff going on, like Red 13 stuff going on. All the stuff, the silly stuff in Costa del Sol. Barrett's story, the gold saucer, the thing at the end that I won't spoil. All of this stuff that people associate, and most of the locations in terms of like open world, is here. Whatever the third parties will probably be bigger because it's going to have all the locations from this and more stuff, but still, in a lot of ways, this is the game. Part 1 was Midgar, which, yeah, a lot of the stuff people associate are there, but I think this truly is just the one, and I didn't really realise it at the time. And that scares me and excites me. This place, if you know the original story, takes place from right after getting out of Midgar, all the way up to the Temple of the Ancients, and that's where part 3 will take off. So, where do I even start with this? Like, I don't want to talk about the story too much because that's a big part of the experience, and it's such a big story-focused game. In terms of stuff, they kept a lot of good stuff the same, but at a certain point in the midsection, I will say a thing they brought back. Everyone who knows who played the game, it's been a big thing. People have different feelings about it, but I think it is where the story tanked a bit for me. Everything up to that point, I was loving so much, and then it came along. And I was like, "Oh no, come on, please! I was having such a good time. Don't do this." When they get introduced and they just rear their ugly head, I don't like them, and it really spoils it for me. So a good chunk of it, absolutely amazing. Parts of certain parts dragged down, but overall, seeing these same characters, locations, story events play out again in much better, much in these all like these new modern day graphics was. There was stuff that I would just stare at for just to look at, and they did so much of it so perfectly. Like go like all the same places from the main game or first game are here. Sometimes visually updated to a point you couldn't recognize them. Like the first town, which I get. In the first game, it was like 3 shops back here, a house here, an inn, and that's it. That's not really gonna be a interesting town in a modern day game. It's fine. You just have to have 3 or 4 sprites around. But when it's kind of in this detailed style, having a whole town be 5 buildings would kind of it kind of drag you out of the experience. I think. Still beautiful though. Getting to Junon. Like, this is the kind of town where I look at and go, wow, they fucking nailed it. From the cannon pointing outwards, just getting to the town, you can just tell, you can visualize it in your head in the original PS1 graphics. You're just like, wow, there's every ramp, every kind of slope, every house, like, nailed it. And that's definitely where the game shines a lot. And even some of the new locations, like, holy fuck. Like, I spent 11 hours in the first open area of the game. I think if you didn't go all the way to do side stuff or walk around looking at things for 40 minutes at a time, you could get in and out in like an hour max, probably like half an hour. I spent 11. And I know I'm not alone in that. I sometimes I'll just be, because again, the open world music playing with this beautiful amazing world, sometimes you just have to do what I like to do in games: stop, rotate camera, just a big pan of the world. And I would do it in so many locations because it is 99% of the time one of the most gorgeous worlds I've ever seen in a game. The only big complaint I have with the graphics: the fuck is this? Excuse me, why does it look like the light is genuinely shining through his face and giving him an x-ray? Like, sometimes it really ruins it. It's especially a huge problem in the daytime. It looks like the sun has been set to 500% and is shining these characters' faces off. And for somebody like me who likes to just take a pan and zoom in a fucking, or like this pan of the world, I have like 40 gigabytes of photos and videos from this game because of how beautiful it looks. Because I just like to take pictures of stuff. The amount I took it's never been matched. And I like, sometimes I'm trying to clear up space. I'm like, no, I can't delete anything from this game. I just don't want to. But it kind of takes out when a character has this weird, like, somebody just got up to his face with a camera and went, flash on. This is what half the characters look like when you take a screenshot. Take it at the wrong time, this is what you see. And it really can drag you out. Especially in a, like, if there's one thing I can safely say with a remake of a game this old, I think one of the points is to look at things from the old game and say, whoa, look how beautiful this looks compared to before. It's kind of hard to do that when half their face is shining off. It might sound a bit weird to be this negative about things when I'm this far into I'm on number 1. But this is the game that this changed the fucking trajectory of my whole year. After finishing this, I didn't touch a modern game off like YouTube or stream for months. I think it was like August or September before I could finally do it again. Stellar Blade came out in April. A game I've been really excited for 5 years. It was one of my most anticipated games for 5 years, every year. I didn't touch it till December. And a huge chunk was this fucker. Partially because I absolutely adored it with every fibre of my being. Part because it bugged the shit out of me. So this is the first time properly. I knew that this was going to be the time where I'm going to let it all out. But graphics, if I'm going to just put it there, high highs, low lows. Which I think describes this game in a lot of ways perfectly for me. What else? The open worlds. Oh my god. These were. To say that these were done well, these were done perfect. They have these massive huge areas for every segment of the world. In the first game, when you get out of Midgar, you have Cam, the Chocobo Ranch, and the swamp. You do it in like 10 minutes. And not including an Nibelheim flashback, 10-15 minutes most. That's where I spent 11 hours. That whole place in this game is you could do more there than you would spend in some games ever. I didn't even do everything because I was like, I've been here for 11 hours. I've been playing this game for like 2 or 3 days. I have to move on. But then you get to the next year, which in the original game would just be this side of the beach. I think it's like, what was it, just Junon and the Fort Condor, maybe one other town. In this game, it's another massive area just as big. Some of them, and there's like 7 of these, I think. But there's like the grasslands, the Junon area, outside of the outside of Costa del Sol, the Gold Saucer outside area, Gongaga, and I think there's one more after that. There's at least 6, and they're all fucking huge. Like, they're massive. Sometimes I'd just be looking at these like, wow, there's gonna be more of these. I've had 2 of them, and I think it's enough for a full game. Sometimes they're beautiful, sometimes not as much. Like, it depends on what kind of areas you enjoy. I don't like the foresty area of Gongaga as much, so it doesn't do as much for me. But the grasslands is beautiful. The kind of faded out look of the Nibelheim area, it's okay. And even some of the Junon area looks boring and rocky, but then you'll get to an area like higher up, and it's a full grasslands there, and it's genuinely one of the most, if not the most beautiful piece of environment I've ever seen in a game. Again, it kind of depends what environments you like. But it was always just the excitement of seeing what you're going to see next in this game, just in terms of characters from the original, locations, huge new areas. They did a phenomenal job with this aspect. No notes on this. This was just done beautifully. Again, if you could fix the graphics so things aren't faded out and blurred, beautiful. Even traversing with stuff like the buggy or chocobos, again, ton of fun. I think that was kind of the second I knew this game was going to be out for me. The second I knew that my fears could be kind of laid to rest. When I saw the buggy, that's when I knew they're going to have fun with this. They're not going to have. It's not going to be too streamlined. Because I think until this game came out, how open this game was going to be, it's especially for somebody who tried to stay as much away from spoilers as I could. I didn't know what this game was going to be like. I didn't know how open it was going to be, how linear it was going to be. Was it going to be completely open segments, just all areas like Midgary, just kind of you're there. I had no idea, and I was terrified. I'm not kidding when I say on a few occasions between remake and this, I had nightmares where I finally got the game and it was shit. That is how much this weighed on me. I couldn't wait for this. I was so excited to play as the new characters, and oh, nightmares. That it would be bad. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what else would. New characters, of course, are Red 13 and Kate Sith. I think is that the only 2? Oh, well, Yuffie too, if you don't include, depends on how the DLC, if you count that or not. The integrate came up between remake and rebirth. Mostly combat is the same. There's a few new additions like synergy moves where you're gonna barrel, pick up Cloud and fuck him at the enemy to do damage. A bunch of these, they're really cool, really like them. The only thing I really hate about the combat, one is kind of about combat, one about the animations in combat, which we'll get to them both now. You see these face buttons. You hold down L1, I think it is, which usually blocks, and tap one of these. It will do an ability with a different character. Like, the character will be over here, they'll teleport over to you if you hold L1 and press circle. The reason I hate this is, one, I don't like the idea of a character teleporting. What are they doing? Why is that happening? But 2, in most games, if you're blocking, you tap the dodge button, you dodge. That's what happened in Remake. It probably didn't help I played Remake like a month before this game came out. Got the platinum, as in, because the PS5 had a different save file, I played through the whole game on stream, went back on hard mode for the platinum, did chapter 5 about 11 times because fuck, the trophies are laid out in a weird way. So it probably didn't help going into this to do that. In ways it helped, in ways it didn't. It's really, really hard to get used to blocking and not being able to just dodge, because no, I tried to dodge with character right in your face. And the second one, it's a stupid thing. Nobody cares about this except me. I've tried looking for people complaining about it. Nobody cares. This is what happens if your character dodges in remake. Cloud rolls. That's it. That's just it. That's all that happens. Here's what happens if you do it in rebirth. I know, it's stupid, but it bugs the shit out of me. Why does everybody in this game vanish? Why can't I just roll without my characters going, I'm here, I'm gone, I'm here? It's only for a split second, it's hard to notice. But I think it's because I like to do this thing so much in this game where I freeze, no, where I slow down the game, because you go into tactical mode to choose your attack, the game slows down a lot, which is great for watching attacks, but have Cloud do braver, and it's just like, slowly coming down. That's fun to watch. So when I try to roll and it's just like slow down, vanish, back. Ow. I genuinely hate it. Doing it in the air, it's 10 times worse. But like again, I kind of exaggerate the first time. It's more like here and your hair. It barely happens. In the air, you will be literally from here and you will vanish and then you're here. Ground, not as noticeable. In the air, you are gone. I don't know why it bugs me so much. I think it looks fucking lazy. Like, why? You couldn't bother be animating, actually rolling the whole way at him. Why? In general, why is this shit happening in games? Why is it when I get too close to a character, I'll be this close, like, I'm gonna zoom in with the camera. Vanish. Look, I get not being able to zoom into the character's fucking head, but at least let me get like this close. Have a transparency mode if you're worried about zooming into a cloud's fucking brain. Have a transparency mode. In the normal mode, if you put the photo mode too close, boink, it just gets stuck. But you turn on transparency and you do it your way. I hate this trend of characters getting too close to the camera just going away. Stop deleting your characters. Oh, I spent the first few minutes of this looking for the box, so I don't even know how long it's been. Oh my god, it's been 21 minutes for me here so far. Oh, I don't know what it's going to be. Oh god, what's next? Music, phenomenal. Some tracks. The only theme I say I don't like as much that really bothers me is the Genova theme. In the original, there's one of the most catchy, fun songs ever. Still good in this one, but not to the same. It's just that it has a weird arcadey style beepy feel to it that I adore. It's fine. But you can also play a lot of songs in piano mini games, which are tough as shit, but they're a joy to play as well. They're really fun. The amount of mini games in this game, which for some reason people are complaining about, guys? We're getting like a million mini games, most of them optional, and you're bitching about it. I get it if there are too many in the actual story, but there really wasn't that many in the story that I can remember. Anything from Chocobo Racing, a cool as fuck Toad jumping game, where you like that thing in Fall Guys, where like one thing is spinning up in the top, one at the bottom, you have to jump at just the right time, and then platforms falling. Addicting as shit. Red 13 Soccer, where it's shooting game. Queen's Blood has become one of the top, I think it's probably a third. It's in the top 3 Final Fantasy minigames ever. The only things in top of me are Triple Triad, and even that's debatable. And Blitzball because it's the best minigame ever. Fight me. Queen's Blood is addicting. Everything about it. One of the best new additions to a game I've ever seen. They better bring that back for part 3. And even in terms of like environments, locations and stuff, I don't know if this is a controversial opinion. I think the Gold Saucer was a fucking letdown. But because the minigames have been just replaced with a generic first person style space shooter, more Queen's Blood. I don't remember what else was there in terms of minigames. I just felt they took a lot of the charm out of it. The G bike is back, but it's kind of the same thing mostly. Well, not really, but it's more of an arcadey style of, but it's okay. They took away the arm wrestling from the original. They took away the obviously there's other stuff there in the future of the game. They got unlocked later, at least in the original. So I'm assuming they'll be in part 3. But they're just not. They don't have the same fun, silly variety. Maybe it's because the other game is so full of mini games, it doesn't have the same appeal to it. Because in the original, this is the only place you're doing stuff like that for the most part. But I don't know why. I really like the basketball game in the original, where it's like hold X, let go, you got a point. And if you held it for just slightly too long or too short, you'd fail. I bring that back. But thankfully, they made up for it in Costa del Sol. This has become the new golden saucer for me. The amount of mini games and fun variety of things to do, it just went so above and beyond. It had become one of my favourite places. I think I spent about 2 days here. Side content here, Just the look of the place, the fun of the place, and the main story that went on here. Phenomenal. One of my favourite locations in the game. Costa del Sol and the Coral Prison. They became more of a gold saucer than gold saucer as far as I'm concerned. Another thing for what I'd say the only place in the game I genuinely hated looking back, Shinra Manor was gutted. Like it was the last place they made in the game, and all of their fun, creativity, enjoyment, passion ran out. Like they just got bored and went, yeah, you know that place in in the original game is like two floors. It's this terrifying place, and the only way you're getting down to the basement, to the place where Sephiroth went insane, is by finding this cool hidden staircase that can be a spirally staircase behind a wall that is terrifyingly cool. And there's a safe at the top. You have to find a code in 4 different rooms to get a summon materia. Well, in this game, okay, get this. It's so much fun. It's so inspired. In this game, you get down to with an elevator. An elevator is just right there in the open. Oh my god! Oh, that's so much fun. Why? No, seriously, why? Would it really have broken? What would the game been delayed for 6 weeks if you just got rid of that elevator, had the upstairs areas, and just why? Look, I understand changing things. I understand making things different for a new game. But to take such a fun, creative, creepy place in the original and turn it into an elevator, the top floors are blocked off by a collapsed staircase. I'm upset when I don't like something. I'm way more pissed off when I can't even comprehend why they would do it. Why? In what world is an elevator out in the open for a secret experiment like a secret lair? In what world is that better than the original one? This isn't just a case of, oh, I like the original better. The new one is, I don't like change. In what world could this possibly be considered better? Also, when you get down here, thankfully one I'm not alone in. One of the worst segments ever. You play as Kate Sith as you slowly, and when I say slowly, you have no fucking idea. You can slowly make it through parts of this underground manor, which is like 6 floors, I think, of things. It's boring. It's repetitive. And they just have one of the most repetitive mini games of all time. Basically, your Kate Sith, bounce, 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 pick up a box, slowly, bounce, 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 and you have an arc. You'll also have this green arc, or this like blue little line to show where you're going to throw, a hole here, and you line it up, throw. Ooh. Doesn't sound that bad, but there's some of them where the thing is moving. And the most annoying thing about this is, because I guess sometimes they like to treat you like you're a fucking toddler who can't play anything himself, this arc that you have pointing out like this little kind of thing pointing up like this, you kind of have to throw it at the right time, and there's a thing swirling around. When the thing gets in your way of the arc, it drags it over. Because it's trying to show you where to throw it properly. You can't turn this off, it forces on you. So you think you're in the right place, you're ready, okay, this might be where to throw. And here's this thing that you're aiming, dragged. Thanks. It's like it's saying, hey, we didn't know if you could do it yourself, so over here, dumbass. And sometimes it makes it worse. And then, oh, you missed this box. You have to go back to the box generator. Boing, 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 boing. Wait for a thing to fall out of the tube. Whoop. Pick up box. Boing, boing, boing. It's fucking awful. One of the worst segments of the game, by far. As far as I'm concerned, they fucked up Nibelheim. I hate to say it, but they turned one of the most ominous, creepy places in the original, the town and the manor, and just stripped it of all personality. Less in terms of complaints. Like, I meant to mention at the start, I don't know if I'm going to put it in, but one trend I've thankfully noticed dying this year, including in this, and since this was early in the year, it's one of the first I noticed doing it, games are significantly less doing this shit, where you can't have a battle, walk around, do anything without a character yelling at you. In Horizon Forbidden West, for example, every time you pick something up, you have a character say, Aloy might go, wow, this can be used for dying things. Or if you walk past a side quest you didn't do yet, I have to deal with this side quest. Then you run outside that area and it's like, I can go back to that side quest later. Nobody shuts the fuck up. God of War Ragnarok, people are solving puzzles before you even see them. Characters yelling to your left, brother, to your right, brother, in battle to constantly remind you where the enemies are. This is one of the first games this year I noticed that did not do any of that. And I could just explore this beautiful open area quietly and just appreciate the music. I only realised what's happening because at one point I was like, oh, I hear bird noises. Let's turn down the music. And I just realised, wow, I didn't even notice. The quietness. I can just appreciate the world with the music and the environment without anyone talking to me. Oh, and since it was early, like I said, it really stood out for that. However, an unfortunate trend I did see pop up a lot this year that I really hate, that almost seems to have replaced it just to piss me off. The unskippable transition. I'm not kidding. When I played through Remake, the absolute worst part of doing hard mode, for the final battle, you would, I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry, I'm not going to say who it was or anything, you would watch an unskip like 40-second cutscene, then you'd have to run up a pathway, then you could fight one phase of the fight. Beat phase 1, watch like a 30-40 second unskippable animation, back into part 2. Oh, beat that, another one. And they were like 20-30 seconds long. I thought that was bad until I played this fucking thing. I'm not kidding. I timed it because I died a bunch of times against the final parts of the game. There are 40-second long to a minute unskippable cutscenes. They're in transition to when, oh, you beat phase 1, you're going to phase 2. That's when this happens. And they're unskippable. It's pretty much what cemented that I will not be getting the platinum in that game. I'll do everything else. I will get everything for the platinum except for hard mode. Because the idea of playing through this game and dying 40 times against the final boss again, just to have to watch that 1 minute every time. Because for some reason games don't like to let you skip transitional cutscenes. Remake was the same. You know, the fight in the underground arena with that boss that changes forms like 4 times? That's where I first noticed it. Every time it forced you to watch it. Look, I can understand the idea of load times. Maybe that I could nearly consider that's the case. But the idea that when I lose against phase 4, I can click retry and be back into phase 1 in like 15 seconds. But they can't let me skip the minute long transition. I refuse to believe that. Maybe in a very old console I could accept it a bit more. But you're telling me the PS5 can't handle letting me just go back into a fight without a minute long for him to change from phase 2 to 3? I don't believe it. I just can't. So, like I said, if you die against phase 4, retry, back in, not even 20 seconds. Sometimes like, quick, reload, go to place where battle is, skip cutscene, back in. I just refuse. But make no mistake, despite any complaints I have, that's why this game really messed me up. If it was just a game I hated, I think I'd be a bit more okay. If it was just a game I loved, I'd just be gushing about it. But it's because so many mixed emotions that this game truly... I'm not kidding when I say it changed my year, I think. Months after playing it, I just couldn't start up another big game. Even the idea of doing it, couldn't do it. Will I ever go back to this? Yes, I know I will. I want to go back to all the side stuff. Side quests I missed. Minigame stuff, more Queen's Blood. I really do want to. I just can't right now. I still just can't. I have to at some point, but oh, I need a break. When Part 3 comes out, I'll be getting it day 1, obviously. It's still my favourite franchise of all time. I still do genuinely love a ton of the game. If they could just fix a few of these problems, I think I'd like it a lot more. Make the combat, like in Remake, the combat feels way more heavy. Like when you use Braver and Cloud swings sort of smashes down an enemy, you can feel it. The combat in this game feels more light. The synergy abilities, they're fine, have them. The summons are still cool. Actually, I'm not minor complaint again about summons because, again, mixed game. You find them this was the same with Remake. You find them in the most boring, dull fucking way. What do? Simulation. You talk to Chadley, he's like, hey, want to fight this summon I created? And in this big blue environment that's just empty and virtual reality blue, you fight the boss. Remember in Crisis Core, when you could fight summons and stuff, and even though they were in VR, you had a simulated environment? You fight Ifrit in a flaming hellscape, you'd fight Bahamut Zero in a space kind of environment. We are in the future, in the real world, and in game. Why are we going more basic and dull? Crisis Core is like 7 years before the original. We're 15 years ahead in terms of real life. Why did we go from simulated cool environments that were big and epic to blue? That's fucking boring. They must have designed this right around the time of Shinra Manor when they'd lost all their fucking creativity and fun. The most annoying part is, in the first area in the grasslands, there's this huge dome that's just rock. And I knew Titan was the first summon in this game. You kind of know where my head's going. You're going to fight Titan here. No, I find him in a blue virtual room. Oh, cool. It not only, again, it's not just a thing of I don't like it. That would be one thing, but I can't comprehend how no, like, why would you want to fight him every summon in the exact same location? Just, it didn't have to be much. Just have him in a place in the original world, but with nothing else around. Because that's what most kind of what they did a lot of times with Crisis Core. I just don't get it. It really demotivates me from fighting the summons. It makes me not even care. Hopefully when Re 3 comes out, I don't know what's going to be called yet. Reunion, Reborn, Realignment, who knows. I wonder if anyone's got it right yet. But like I said, if I just loved it or just hated it, I don't think I could talk about it for this long. But it's because it's such a conflicting thing. The love and the hate sides, they're very strong on both sides. The things I love about it is clashing with the things I hate to create a very confused game. That kind of broke me. This really has been a year. My big retro inspired year this defined my year. I think I would have played twice as many new games this year if it wasn't for that. For better or for worse. Which I guess for better in a lot of ways. I played a lot of retro games I loved, which we'll get to later, next time. But what more can I say? After 100 and something hours, it was an emotional, beautiful mess at times. I think that is the perfect word to describe my feelings for this game. It is messy. I love some, I hate some have done worse, some would have done better, some baffles me about why they would even think it was good. But then sometimes things I did not expect them to do, things I genuinely thought they would half-ass, they went even further on than I expected, and made me have a beautiful time with. I can't wait for the third part. I can't wait for, like, right now I'm more of a stagnant phase because they haven't shown anything. I can kind of pretend it doesn't exist and nothing matters. But I know when the third part is going to show me off, I know exactly how I'm going to react. I'm going to flip a table metaphorically. It's going to be the best thing that's shown off whenever it's shown off. And even though I don't expect to see it for at least another year, I can't wait. I'm always looking forward to my Final Fantasy. I can't wait to play as characters like Vincent or Sid. Sid. Another minor fucking nitpick. What the fuck did they do with Sid? Not nitpick, no, not a problem. Oh, I told you this would be a while. What did they do to Sid? If he doesn't smoke, I never thought he'd say these words. This man better be an asshole to his wife. If he treats his wife well, I'm not going to enjoy this game. Weird words to say. If he doesn't smoke, and he's a nice guy, he is not Sid. You cannot reverse a character's personality and claim they're the same character. You can't, like, it'd be like making Barrett a guy who doesn't care about the planet and who abandoned his child. You can't say that's Barrett. Or making Tifa a bloodthirsty monster who's who doesn't like to fight and who's like a bloodthirsty monster who doesn't care about anyone and hates Cloud. Wouldn't be her. You can't reverse a character's. You can't take away this much from a character and act like they're the same person. I'm barely kidding here. I might not even be kidding. If they don't do this stuff in part 3, if he better just be, like, he's running an airline service in this, so maybe it's a customer service thing. That's how I'm coping. If it sticks in part 3, I'm going to stop calling him Sid. I'm just going to refer to him as Kid or something. Because if he's not going to do any of this stuff, just part of his character, he is not the same character, and I will reject him. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, that felt. Oh, I had to get out. It's been genuinely weighing on me for about a year. Which is kind of crazy. I think it's already been. I took about 2 months to finish it, but yeah. Let's just leave it there. Like I said, messy feelings. But it's only because I care so much. If it was just a piece of shit, or if it was, like I said, piece of shit, amazing game, I don't think I'd be this passionate about it. If it was a random game I didn't care about in the first place, it just came out of nowhere, I don't think I'd care this much. It's because it's a beautiful mess from a franchise that is so near and dear to my heart that I can get this passionate, this emotional about it, I guess. And where I can talk for like 43 minutes about it for good and bad. It always felt weird to talk about a game at number 1 and have this much negative, but like I said, I had to get it all out. I think it was like when I talked about Spider-Man last year, I think it was. I had a lot to say, I had a lot of mixed feelings, and it felt good to get out. And I'd mentioned it a few times, but here I think I can finally say, in terms of this game for now, I can lay it to bed. And wait for part 3, and wait for a brand new time for gaming.
Excuse me. Could you look after my friend? Just for a bit.
A weapon?
Tutelary creatures, said only to appear when the planet is in grave danger.
Who dares disturb my slumber? It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds merge. I'm waiting, Cloud.
Anyway, that has been long. I don't know how long this has been. Most of them are like 10 minutes long at most, so 10 parts, 9 of them 90 minutes. This could be like 2 hours, because... So I'm going to wrap this up quick, because I need to get to bed, because work is still crazy around this time of year, so I don't have time to... I don't even know when this is going to come out. I'm hoping to get it done soon, but I need to get this out quick. Not even get this out, just get it out of here quick. 2024 overall, for me, like I said, there was games I thought could have made 2024 much bigger than 2023, and I think it was. Games I still haven't played, like Grand Blue Fantasy looks amazing, Space Marines 2 something I can't wait to play, Pacific Drive, and games I did play that I was looking forward to, like Infinity Nikki, Stellar Blade, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I knew this was going to be a huge year for me, and it was. And it probably would have been bigger in terms of new games, again, if it wasn't for how much this fucked with my brain. But yeah, let me know, as always, how was your 2024? How do you think it compared to 23? If you're like me, a lot of games in 2023, despite you kind of acknowledge it being a good year in a lot of ways, it might be it didn't do as much for you like it didn't for me. Feel free to let me know your top 10, top 5, whatever you want to do. What was great? What was disappointing? What sucked? What was overrated? What was underrated? As time goes on in the next while, I'm going to be doing, I have one plan for my top 10 games that I'm looking forward to in 2025, which is a bit tougher this year because I feel like we're in a weird transitional period for me, where most of the games I did care about have come out, but they've come out recently enough where there's nothing new announced. There's no new Final Fantasy game on the horizon, there's no new Resident Evil isn't even shown off yet. I said after going to go to 5 remake or Code Veronica remake or 9. So there, Kingdom Hearts 4 hasn't been shown off properly yet. There's so many things, like a lot of games I would care about that usually would come up here. Just a lot of those franchises are just in this weird in-between period where nothing is around. So it's weird, it's going to be hard to find 10 games for next year, but I'll get to it. I'm also going to be doing another one of these where it's just with my top 10 games of 2024 that did not come out in 2024. So all of the retro games I played over the years, anything from just the dawn of gaming until like 2023, anything I played last year that did not come out in that year, I can't wait to it. I'm actually more excited for that than this one, because there are some fun ones on that. But I'm looking forward to doing them, they'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, again, let me know what you thought of 2024 overall, what your favourites were. Even if it's just your number one, what's your number one game of the year? If you got this far in, even if you just skipped through some of them, thank you for watching. My throat is killing me. I didn't expect to finish this tonight because I was going to go to bed early, but that turned out well. So, thank you for watching. Feel free to like and comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Apparently helps. And I'll see you for the next one. Hopefully not too long from now, depending how work goes. Hopefully it dies down a bit. But yeah, see you for the next year, which will hopefully be a good one. Or at least not a shit one. Who knows? We need time to catch up. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you for the next one. See you then.